What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Guys, I need to get the Frankenstein going, man. We're getting closer and closer to all these events this year. We got LS Fest coming up. We got Optima batteries coming up. We got a few different events coming up, and we want to make it. And guess what? Frankie, from the last Optima event, has been down. Let me show you what's going on. Oh, Frankie's been hibernating, y'all, man. This thing is getting beat up out here. And it was actually worse because we've been putting in some work, you guys, behind the scenes. If you guys been following the Instagram, you know we had the motor out. Yeah, and it's finally back in. KO and I freaking put it in just the other day because we took it out. I don't know if you guys remember the debacle we had with the clutch and everything else like that, and us using that freaking bread to pull the pilot bearing out. Yeah, that was not fun, y'all. So we got the motor out, we pulled everything out, and then we had to redo the clutch. We put motor and transmission all back together in one shot, but it's now back in and it's cleaned up. You guys remember this thing went through some freaking mayhem in Utah, so we got it cleaned up. We still got to kind of finish putting some of the wiring back together. We had to put all new intake gaskets on it and everything else like that because we took all that stuff apart. But what we're talking about today is I need to add some extra coolant, and I need to make sure we got enough coolant because obviously we're running twin turbo and we got a lot of oil, and that oil gets really hot. So let me show you what we're going to be working with today. Yeah, buddy, guys, we've been hoarding some parts, man. We had to get some coolant because I noticed, like I said, it's the car was running hard the last couple of events, and we did not have anything helping us with the oil coolant side. And I noticed, obviously, with us running turbos, that stuff is getting hot, man, and we need something to cool that oil down. So we went with the DERALE, this remote cooler here. We're gonna end up mounting this in the back because we don't have any more room in the front. We got so much weight going on in the front, not to mention the lack of room. So we're gonna put that on the bottom of the car, and I'll show you where. And then we got a bunch of plumbing and stuff that we ordered from Vibrant, along with hoses and stuff like that. I should say hose. Hopefully we got enough there. I think that's 20 feet or 25 feet. Let's see. Of course, yeah, 20 feet. Hopefully we can make that work. And then we got this guy here from Improved Racing. I don't know if you guys remember that video I did on Instagram. We used one of these for the G-body. We also one of these for the G-body. But the difference with this one is that this one does not have their thermostat built in. So we got the one without the thermostat, is this guy right here. So this doesn't have the thermostat because, for one, I'm in Vegas. I'm not too worried about the cold out here. It does get cold, but we're running twin turbos, like I said, and those turbos get hot. I think it's plenty of heat there for for that oil to warm up and get up to temperature. So I'm not too worried about that. So we're going to run that. And not to mention, I got this one particular because it has the two ports right here, and that we'll use those two ports for our turbo. So we can use those two ports there. And then we will also run the fan on that guy there remotely on a switch. I should say we'll put it on a switch so that way we can turn it on and off when we are only running or racing or something like that. So that's another reason I went with that thermostat guy. But if you're gonna daily it, I'd probably go with the thermostat. But since we're racing some, and then gonna have this thing on a switch, and it will be in the back, I'm not too worried about it. Oh, and we also, this is for later, we got a bunch of some heat protection from DEI because those spark plug and headers, man, they do not do well with the heat. They're too close, so I got some extra protection for that. Wrap it up, boys, wrap it up. So here's our old setup. This is our little ICT billet adapter plate that we use for our turbo feed line. So that new one from Improved Racing, that'll go right here to take its place. So let's put that on. Let's take that off, put the new one on. Now that that guy's on, we got to worry about these fittings, but I'm a little nervous because, for one, our exhaust kind of lands right in this area right here. Our downpipe comes up and over this area, so I'm hoping we got enough clearance there. And then we're gonna have to run our other lines coming off here for the turbo feeds. So we're gonna have these 290s here, but this is gonna be kind of a tight squeeze. We're gonna come around And I'm thinking about going underneath the oil pan and maybe towards the back, because that cooler, I wanted to live underneath theirs, but maybe if we can get them to come down a little bit through here and back around. But yeah, and then back here somewhere. I think we're gonna put it right in this area right here. Man, this thing's dirty under here. This is what happens when you drive it, baby. All right, y'all, so after kind of looking at how everything's gonna route, so I went ahead and mounted it here right behind, I should say right in front of the starter, and then we're coming along here, and then we're going over our braces here, and then that cooler will live here. But I will say this, I'm gonna have to go get some heat sleeve, I think, because that downpipe comes right through here, and that thing is gonna be sitting super close to these hoses, so I don't like that. So we're gonna end up putting some of that heat sleeve on these to kind of protect those. But other than that, I think that'll work. It's nice and tucked, like I said, in front of the belly pan right here, and then we come across there, and then just up and over. So now we gotta do is mount our cooler right there. Speaking of our coolers, let's go ahead and open this thing up. Bam! Yeah, buddy, I like it, y'all. Check that out. So we did get the ones with the AN fittings, so they're depending on the one you guys get, different AN fittings, different sizes, so make sure you guys get the right one if you guys are looking for a cooler. But DERALE, man, I do like their stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I run their fans in my my Chevelle too. They're great fans. I never had an issue with them. I think there's a video about that. I'll link it down in the description below on the radiator setup that I did with the cooling fans of their fans, I should say, because clearly I'm their biggest fan. But that's the guy right there. So we went with this one because this is the one that I can find with the, I guess, best dimensions that we felt that was gonna fit in their area. Because let me go show you here. This thing, there's not a lot of room right there. You can see right there, there's probably about maybe 10 inches wide right there, nothing crazy. But this is making me nervous now if this is even gonna fit. Okay, come on, baby. Oh yeah, something like that, right? Something like that right there. I mean, look at that. Even that fan sits a little low, but this is the smallest guy we can find that it's gonna work for what we got going on. So we'll probably try to tuck it up a little bit towards the front a little bit, and that way we can still get our AN lines on there. But we're gonna have to figure out how to mount this thing. Man, I'm feeling a little defeated, y'all. I thought I was gonna be able to get around this cage or brace, I should say, but we're definitely not winning. I thought I had the solution. Check that out, guys. I had that little angle drill right there. You stick that on the drill, and then you got an angle, and you put your bit on there. But even that guy, once you put the bit or a screw or anything, forget about it. Too long. So what I think we're gonna have to do is extend this bracket, basically build another little small, just add basically a bracket and just extend it over. Same thing here, extend it over and then bolt it down that way, because that's not gonna happen. I mean, this freaking cage is literally right where we need to be. So, and we can't move it any further back, because once you move it further back, you're gonna have kind of the same issue. You're not gonna have anywhere to bolt to, I should say, on the back side. So we're just gonna have to do that. It is the next day, you guys. Had to stop because I wanted to go ahead and get some of these heat shields, and I knew these were just gonna be right in the thick of things with that exhaust. I even went ahead and mocked that thing up because I wanted to make sure we had plenty of clearance. It is like stupid tight, so freaking tight, but we're gonna have enough room because that pipe kind of comes up here and it veers off this way. So make sure you guys checking clearances if you guys decide to do something like this. But went ahead and wrapped it here, tie wrapped it here, and we're gonna come across, and we got our intercooler, or I should say our oil cooler, mounted right there. You guys can see we had to put some additional brackets up here because remember we were running into the issue because we could not basically pull a bolt or a screw right through that area. So we extended it, put these little extendo brackets, not to mention a little standoff, because you can see the gap we have right there. So that wasn't going to work. So we got our fittings right here just kind of angled there. All we got to do is cut our line. So we'll do one and then the other, and we should be good to go. And then the wiring's pretty easy. Obviously power and ground, you guys, if you guys decide to do something like that. But I'm just gonna put it on a toggle switch. I'm not even gonna put a relay in line because I'm only gonna run this when we're out on the track. and it'll stay on non-stop. So what I'll do is ground to ground, and then the power to a just two-way switch. That's it. But we'll probably actually run it right in here, right through the transmission whole area axis here, so we can put it on the center console. Not too shabby, you guys, not too shabby. We are good to go. Obviously, all we got left is just to add power and ground to that fan, but we'll do that in a later time because I still got to put a lot of stuff back in the motor since we took it out. Not to mention bleed the clutch because we got a new clutch, finish the exhaust. We're probably going to end up Cerakoting the exhaust, and also to keep some more of that heat trapped in there as well. But I do like the fact that we have a little bit of an air gap right here between the fan and the car, because what that's going to do is going to let the heat escape and go out. So what we'll do is we'll wire the fan up so it's actually pushing. So we'll get it to where it's actually basically pushing air up to it, so sucking in air from the bottom where the fresh air is at, and naturally heat rises, so it should escape through the top. So I like that. I do like that, having the air gap up there as well. But I am digging it. Definitely that should help us out with some coolant out in the track. Like I said, we'll only run the fan when we're out in the track probably, but I do want to look into see if we can get maybe a lower profile fan, because you can see kind of where the frame kind of lands at. It basically almost a little bit too high, or I should say a little bit too low, and that fan definitely kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. But I mean, it is what it is. We're racing, right? So we just got to stay cool at the end of the day. But I'm digging it, y'all. But like I said, definitely, if you're going to be doing this, look into the heat wraps, guys, because that's really what's going to save the day at the end of the day. Make sure, because the whole purpose of this is trying to keep that thing cool, right? But I'm digging it. We got a lot of work to go, though. Got a lot of work to do, I should say. But guys, I think that's gonna do it for this video, man. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell for notifications. You guys already know. Stay wrenching.